everyone. Welcome to video 4 in our short series of videos about sustainability and marketing. I'm Edmund Bradford. I'm director of the Good Growth Academy, and I'm delighted to have with me again Stephen Mangum, who's a branding expert and is perfect for this little video because he's also a master at Masters of Scale International. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how do we scale up, how do we get sustainability as an initiative implemented and going in our organization, or maybe going faster in our organization. So Stephen, if I'm a chief marketing officer in an organization of any size, should we say, what are the kind of advice would you give to me? Let's say I'm getting some earache from my customers about the fact that we need to be more sustainable, otherwise we risk being deselected, or maybe my consumers are slowly defecting to other more purposeful brands. What can I do about it? Who do I need to talk to, and what are the kind of things that I need to be saying to get this thing moving in my company?
Okay. Well, I think it starts with having a clear strategy that is articulated in a compelling way to your staff, to your team. There's lots of companies, when they define a really strong sense of purpose or a strong mission, that can galvanize their employees. So, for example, I once heard that at Disney, they defined their mission as that what they were there to do was to make magic for kids of all ages. So, which is, I think, is a great reason to get up in the morning to go to work. It's a galvanizing mission. Or famously at NASA, NASA's single-minded mission was to put a man on the moon in the 60s. And everybody at NASA, from the janitor right up to the director, saw it as their job to put a man on the moon, which was, an inspiring mission. So I think if you can define that purpose in a way which is attractive and inspiring, and communicate that strongly to your team, I think that could go a long way to not just getting them on your side, but getting them really excited about it.
Well, absolutely. And by the way, I think the good news here, Stephen, is there's more and more research now being done on how, for example, consumers respond to purpose-driven brands. I saw some really good research from Ernst & Young came out a few months ago, talking about, it was a global study, and I think they were saying something like about 40% of consumers would like to move more spend to purpose-driven brands. So there's more and more evidence when marketers are making this case to the leadership team. There's more and more evidence that they can be using, I think, to support it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at there's plenty of studies actually, but for example, the one that springs to mind for me is the Good Purpose study by Edelman. They've done that over a number. Now, they started that in 2008, I believe. And there was evidence back in 2012 already that there was, significant moves towards those trends that you just mentioned.
So yeah, so persuading the board, let's say to re-examine their mission and their purpose, and to think about their purpose being more socially viable. That's a key area to look at. Let's say, for example, that there's a good presentation is being put down, and the board now is saying, okay, right, I'll give this some priority in our organization. I'll give you some resources to get this thing going. What's kind of like the next steps? He's got approval, if you like, to proceed. How can, like a chief marketing officer, where does he go from there in terms of getting the thing going?
Well, I think it's really important to have a plan, a very tangible, results-driven plan, which is, what are we going to stand for? So that's the defining the brand and articulating what we stand for. What are our objectives in terms of targets as a result of the way that we're going to be representing the brand to our consumers, and what's our action plan to get there, to achieve those targets. So that's the first place to start from, I think.
A concrete, plan to do that, and I think from my experience as well, Stephen, we're not necessarily talking about changing the world overnight, are we? For example, the plan can say, well, we're going to test this out in a business unit or in geography or on a product line or on one of our brands, and we're going to make some progress over the next 12 months on this issue. And all the lessons that we learn, it'll be like a pilot exercise, and all the lessons that we learn, we're then going to feed that into later stages in our rollout. So they don't need to try and change the world, if you like, overnight. There's a lot of work involved in this, and they can start playing around with some ideas in a smaller scale.
Yes, I mean, first of all, I think it's important to listen to the consumer. So whether that be a pilot or other form of testing or whatever it may be, but listen to the consumer, number one, and learn from their response. Number two, accept that this is going to be an evolution, perhaps not a revolution, and that there are things that you can do in the short term that will be, if you like, quick wins, but there may be other things that are going to be trickier to achieve and require more thought, more time, and won't happen as fast. And that's okay. It's not about achieving perfection immediately. It's about taking steps in the right direction and sticking with it.
And one of our good friends, Dr. Pooja Khosla at Intelligent, one of the things she always says is actually, don't worry too much about where your metrics are today. Think about the delta, the rate of change, and yep. Just make sure that you've got a good rate of change as you go through this process. Because the nature of the beast is not something that you can expect to change overnight. This is it's going to be a long journey, and even the measurement of success is going to be over many years.
Absolutely, and there are going to be aspects of changes that you would want to make that may not be simple to achieve. There may be real thorny issues in the brand, in the business, that can't be solved overnight or may not have a solution today. So you solve what you can, and you work to a solution on the things that you don't yet have a solution for. And I think as long as you're being seen to, in all sincerity, to take the right steps and to do what you can and be open about what you're going to try and do next, I think your people will respond well to that.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Stephen. Well, we although I feel like I could talk to you for another half an hour, we do really want these to be little short bite-sized exercises. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and wisdom with our audience. And I very much look forward to seeing you again for some more videos in the future.
Thank you, Ed. Nice to be here.
Thank you.